Welcome back to the Action Bible audio companion and narration by MC Brown. And we're on part 18. And as always, we're reading from the Action Bible, the comic book adaptation of the Bible, with illustrations by Sergio Carrillo, with general editor Doug Mouse, text by David C. Cook, copyright 2010. Happy New Year to everyone. This one is being recorded after New Year. We are rolling along. We're well over the 200. We're over the 200 page mark. And as always, if you're first joining the series or if you're just listening to the recap, we're not showing each panel with each balloon. That's not the goal of this. It's to hopefully inspire you to get your own Action Bible. Links in the description, timestamps in the description if you just want to keep boom, boom, boom following along without these intros. And just know that we're trying to inspire people to read the Bible, myself included. I think, a few hundred pages at least and before. So I'm racing towards and past the spot I was originally. Before then, I rewound, started fellowship with a friend, and then so on and so forth. We got here. This is the third time doing it. I'm recording it for the series and hoping to get all the way through it and give you guys, obviously, a lot of parts because there's 750 pages, but just give you guys a good experience. And God's putting on my heart to do it. Appreciate you guys. And if you can, and if this is making a difference for you and you feel like you can for somebody else, please share this. And we're just trying to grow it and get larger. So without further ado, we'll jump right in. Like said, we're in part 18, starting on page 212, and we're resuming here with the Song of Deborah based on Judges 4-5. Again, the Israelites forget all that God has done for them and turn to worship the idols of their neighbors. Soon they become so weak and afraid they can't even protect their own fields from Canaanite raiders. "Stop! That's my grain!" "It's ours now." "What are you going to do about it?" "Years ago, our great leader Joshua conquered the Canaanites. Now they are conquering us." "What's the matter with our leaders? We'll starve if King Jabin's men keep stealing our grain." The Canaanites raid one field after another. Finally, the Israelite farmers have a meeting. "We have to do something to stop these Canaanites. Let's go see Deborah, the prophetess and judge." The angry farmers take their story to Deborah, who holds court under a palm tree in Ephraim. "What can we do? The Canaanites are stealing all our food." "Take a message to Captain Barak in the north country. Tell him to come at once." "Does she mean war?" "We don't have a chance against the Canaanites. They have 900 iron chariots, and we have only a few crude weapons." A few days later, "Barak, this is the plan God gave me. Take 10,000 men to Mount Tabor. When King Jabin hears of this, he will order his army under Sisera to come out and destroy us. But with God's help, you will defeat them. I'll lead the army, but only if you'll go with us. God speaks through you, and if you are there, I know God will help us." "I'm sorry that you lack the faith to lead by yourself. Very well, I will go with you, but since you need a woman to help you fight your battles, a woman will win your battle for you as well." After a quick march, the Israelites reach Mount Tabor. Deborah's prophecy comes true. The Canaanite army comes to meet them. "Have faith! This is the day the Lord will deliver us." Deborah gives the signal, and Barak charges down the mountain leading his troops. Above them, lightning flashes. A cloudburst turns the plain into a sea of mud. The iron chariots of the Canaanites sink into the mire. Trapped, they are at the mercy of the Israelites, who attack with speed and courage. "To the river!" The Canaanites try to retreat, but the Kishon River is already overflowing its banks, and the Canaanites who try to swim to safety sink under the weight of their heavy armor. Sisera tries to escape. On the way, he stops to rest in a tent that he thinks is friendly. But the woman who lives there, Jael, is loyal to Israel and kills Sisera while he is asleep. When Deborah learns that the Canaanites have been defeated, she sings a song of victory. In the heavens, even the stars fight for the Lord. May all the Lord's enemies perish, and may those who love the Lord be the sun shining in all its might. The people rejoice and sing praises too, and for 40 years there is peace in Israel. Families work in their fields and harvest their crops, but in time they again forget God and find themselves in more trouble than ever before. Cowardly Judge, based on Judges 6-7. In the year of plenty that followed Deborah's victory over the Canaanites, the Israelites again forget God. One by one, they join the neighbors in worshiping the idol Baal. At last, only a few people in all of Israel remember that it was God who had rescued them from their enemies. Every harvest season, just when the Israelites are ready to gather their food for the year, roving bands of Midianites steal their harvest for years. The desert tribesmen terrorize the Israelite villages and raid their fields. "Run for your lives! If they find where I hid my grain, we'll starve." But when the raid is over, it's gone. Our grain is gone. For 7 long years, the Israelites suffer at the hands of the desert tribesmen. They hide out in caves and thresh their grain in secret places, but the raiders always return. Then, even more frightening news comes. The Midianites are coming again, and they're bringing great armies from the east. Like grasshoppers, the enemy swarms over the Israelite fields, stealing grain, cattle, and sheep. One day, a young Israelite is secretly threshing his grain when a stranger appears before him. "Who are you? What do you want?" "You are a mighty warrior, Gideon. God has chosen you to save his people." "Me? My family is the weakest of the whole tribe, and I'm the weakest one in my family. If you're really an angel of the Lord, then give me a sign." Gideon prepares some food and brings it to the stranger. "Put the food on the rock." The stranger touches the food with his staff. Instantly, a fire bursts forth and consumes it. "I have seen the angel of the Lord face to face." When the angel disappears, God speaks to Gideon and tells him to destroy the altar of Baal. But Gideon is afraid of the townspeople, so he waits until dark to obey. "Won't the people kill us if they find out? That's why we're doing this at night." But Gideon still hopes that God hasn't really called him. He asks for a sign. "Okay, God, tomorrow morning, if this wool is wet with dew and the ground is dry, then I'll know that you have truly chosen me." The next morning, Gideon has his sign. The ground is dry, but there's enough dew on this wool to fill a whole bowl. But Gideon is still afraid. "Oh God, please don't be angry with me. But give me just one more sign. This time make the wool dry and the ground wet. Then I'll really trust in you." The next morning, the wool is dry and the ground is wet. "All right, God, I believe. Now I know that I am the one called to save my people." Gideon calls the leaders of Israel together. "With God's help, we can drive the Midianites away from our land. Are you with me?" "Yes, yes." With an army of 32,000 soldiers, Gideon marches to the hills surrounding the Midianite camp. "What a camp! Their camels outnumber the sand on the shore." "Don't worry. With 32,000 men, we have a good chance against them." But God gives Gideon more instruction. "God has said that if any of you is afraid to fight, you may leave now and go home." Most of his army disbands. About 10,000 men remain. But God wants it to be clear that victory comes from God, not the strength of Gideon's army. He makes Gideon weed out his army once again. When the men stop to drink from a brook, anyone who kneels down to drink is sent home. How can I win a battle with so few soldiers? Only 300 men are left out of Gideon's original army of 32,000. Now the Israelites know beyond all doubt that only with God's help can they defeat the enemy. Hide your torches in these pitchers. Spread out on 3 sides of the camp. Wait until nightfall, then listen for my signal on the trumpet. We're ready! At Gideon's signal, the men blow their trumpets, smash their pitchers, wave their torches, and give the battle cry, "The sword of the Lord and of Gideon!" The stillness of the night is suddenly broken by the blare of 300 trumpets and the crash of broken pitchers. Startled from their sleep, the Midianites rush out to find their camp ablaze with flaming torches. Though there are only 300, the Israelites' torches, horns, and shouting throw the Midianites into a panic. They lash out with their swords, striking each other down. Within minutes, they've killed more of their own men than Gideon ever could with his original army. The Lord has demonstrated his might once again. God's Enforcer, based on Judges 13 through 14. After Gideon's death, new enemies come against Israel. Now Philistine raiders strike time and again at the Israelite villages, carrying off grain, cattle, and even children to work as slaves. One Israelite woman receives a promise from the Lord. "You are going to have a boy, so keep yourself pure, because your son will help save Israel from the Philistines. As a sign that he is set apart for the Lord, no razors or scissors must ever touch his head." "A man came and told me that we're going to have a boy, and he will be a hero for God." "You're feverish. Even if we did have a kid, there's no reason God would bless him with such a great destiny." "It is true. Your son will be a Nazirite, set apart for God from birth, and he must never cut his hair, for that will be the symbol of his holiness." "What is your name, Great One?" "My name doesn't matter, only the name of our awesome Lord." "Then we shall sacrifice a goat as thanks to the Lord." As they light a small fire for their sacrifice, "We have seen God. The Lord will surely fulfill his promise to us." But to his parents' dismay, as their son Samson grows up, he doesn't act like someone destined to be God's hero. An irresponsible young man, he disobeys many of the Lord's commands, except for the one about cutting his hair. May I give you a drink of water?" "Yes, thank you." "She's the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. I don't care if she's a Philistine, the enemy of my people." Back home, Samson loses no time telling his parents what he wants. "I have fallen in love with a Philistine girl. Make arrangements with her parents for us to get married." "But you're supposed to be God's deliverer. How can you love one of our enemies? She doesn't believe in our God." "I don't care. Make it happen." On his way to visit his new fiancée, Samson is suddenly attacked by a lion. At that moment, the Spirit of the Lord gives Samson great power, and he rips the lion apart with his bare hands. "The Lord has given me great strength. Nobody better mess with me now." Finally, the time for the wedding comes. Samson walks by the spot of his battle with the lion and sees its body still there. Bees have made honey in the lion's carcass. Samson scoops some of the honey and tastes it. "It's good. I'm eating food out of the animal that wanted to eat me for food." In Timnah, several Philistines greet Samson. "I am your best man, and I have brought 29 of my friends to be your guests." Thanks. Hey, I've got an idea. If any of you guess my riddle, I'll give each of you a shirt and a nice robe. If you can't, each of you has to give me a shirt and a robe. At least one of us should be able to figure out this stupid Israelite's riddle. It's a bet. Out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet. You must guess the answer within the 7 days of my wedding feast. But as the week goes by, neither the best man nor any of his friends can guess Samson's riddle. What will we do? I can't afford to give him a shirt and a robe. Neither can I. We'll have to get the answer from his bride. After all, she is a Philistine. We didn't come here to get robbed by your future husband. Get the answer from Samson, or we'll set fire to your father's house with you in it. I will. Just give me time. That evening, if I'm going to be your wife, We shouldn't have secrets. Tell me the answer to your riddle. Not even my father and mother know the answer. Why should I tell you? But she cries every day, and on the last day of the feast, You hate me. If you loved me, you'd tell me the answer. Fine. The answer is a lion and honey. A few minutes later, she slips away. I have the answer. Tell us, and you'll save your life. At the feast, We've come to collect our wager. The answer to your riddle is a lion and a honey. After all, what is sweeter than honey, and what is stronger than a lion? We'd like our 30 robes, please. You cheated. My bride must have told you. I may have lost this bet, but your people will be the ones to pay. Samson is furious. He storms out of his own wedding feast and enters another city. Ah, enough Philistines to pay my debt, and all of them handsomely dressed, too. With his great strength, Samson strikes down a group of enemy Philistines. 23, 24, 25. Still in a rage, Samson returns to the wedding feast. Here, the debt is paid, and by the lives of your own countrymen. All right, so we'll stop here on page 228. And that's where we'll resume to find the Philistines. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Thank you for watching, listening. Please like this video. Share it to anyone who needs it, please. If you find it on your heart, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Just be notified as we're dropping these, especially now racing to 2022 as we record these. Started on Christmas Day of 2021, and we're just trying to race through. We got a little over 500 pages at this point, but God's willing me through, and I'm learning as I go too. So, as always, appreciate you guys, and God bless you guys, and we'll see you in the next one.